to the City's draw yesterday against Chelsea, and definitely reacting to the news this morning that Manchester United's manager Amorim has been sacked. It is a crazy night yesterday or yesterday's evening to see Man City lose or draw, at the last kick of the game, literally a goal from Enzo Fernandez, and it was crazy to to live that moment. As an Arsenal fan, you can say it's a good evening yesterday, and definitely a good morning seeing your rival team, a big club in Manchester United, going unsettled by sacking their manager. So crazy good news for Arsenal. Man City draw. We go 6 points clear, and Manchester United manager sacked. I'm excited as an Arsenal fan to hear both news, and let's go on to the City's match reaction. The game was a draw, a goal from Reynes at the end of the first half. Coming to the second half, Man City kept dominating, but Chelsea came out in the second half a little bit better. It was a little bit more even. Then, last minute of the game, it was dead to finish Enzo Fernandez, and you could see it in the body language of the Man City players at the end of the game. They do not want to keep dropping points. They know the Arsenal they are facing in this title race is different from the Arsenal team that they've been facing in the last 2-3 seasons in title races. This looks like it's going to be different. They don't want to give too many gaps or too many opportunities for Arsenal to drift away. But talking about that game, you could see that Foden and Shaki, it feels more like the ego between the two players is showing. They want to dribble every time, they want to take on players, and Pep Guardiola's style of play is to keep the ball ticking and moving, to they see that opening to create a chance, slip the ball to Haaland, and Haaland finishes. When most times this season, when Haaland has not scored a goal in a game, they ended up drawing or losing that game. It is no coincidence that Haaland did not score yesterday, and Man City dropped the point as well. So Haaland's goal in the Man City squad right now is visible and is very critical and very important as well for the team to be where they are. And I think, like I said, if they keep dropping points like this and Arsenal keeps winning, and this gap that was 2 points at the beginning of or mid-December or at the beginning of December went on to 4 points last 2 weeks, and this week again is back to 6 points, I believe. If it gets bigger to, let's say, 10 points, 13 points, I'm sorry for rival fans, it is Arsenal title to win. I can confidently say that as an Arsenal fan when I see double figures in terms of points distance between Arsenal and Man City. I can boldly say that it is an Arsenal title to win, because I do not see this Arsenal team dropping too many points before now and the end of the season. Before the second half of the season started last week, I stated to our fan community on TikTok, Arsenal only need to better Man City's record this second half of the season, and definitely our title is ours to win. This title of 2025-2026 season is our title to win. So I believe it is on us now to keep winning our games and putting the pressure on Man City to figure out themselves. Let's go on to Amorim. Amorim lost his job. Amorim came in, signed a deal. He did well in Sporting, came into to Manchester United, and he felt like he was going to have the know-how, he would have the opportunity, he would have the freedom to make decisions himself with experienced heads around him. But unfortunately, he had maybe 1.5 season in the job and it's out again. They now have to start looking for a manager. Manchester United and Chelsea have been one of the two top clubs in the last 10 to 5 to 10 seasons that have kept changing managers. It is crazy for a big club not to have consistency in performance and as well as consistency in management. So this situation is just similar to like the Chelsea situation where the manager is having to listen to decisions from the board to make decisions off the field. Is necessarily not the manager of the club or the players. It is more of him just coaching the players, which is crazy in this day and age. The difference between them and Ateta is Ateta had a team that he needed to shift their mentality. He, he did that by shifting the mentality of the board, by changing the board a lot of the people on the board a couple of times while he first came in. Edu was there. A couple of other um, board members left the club, and he was there to make decisions. His opinions were heard about players to bring in and players to sell. He had a good relationship with Edu, but Chelsea and Manchester United, they do not have good relationship with the sporting director or even the owners. So that has led to his sacking. The last press conference he had, he said he wanted to be the manager. When he came in, he was told he was going to be the manager of the players, not just a coach. So if Manchester United board and owners are going to, and the fans are going to listen to the likes of Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher as the templates for them to make decisions in the club, then he's going to do his time as Manchester United and he would leave. But he wants to make sure that he is the manager of the players and the sporting director is doing his job and every other person on the board is doing his job. I think these comments have led to his eventual sacking. He was obviously going to get sacked, but at the same time, this was just the nail on the wood that confirmed the sacking with the press conference he had. Another thing I think I would put blame on for Amorim is the lack of adaptability. He was not there to. He was not willing to adapt. He played a 3-4-3 that worked in Sporting, came to Manchester United and felt, okay, this information is what I'll stick to, whether I have the players or not. Remember, when Ateta came into Arsenal, he won the FA Cup using a back five throughout the season because he came in the middle of the season. He used back five and he went on to beat Chelsea and Man City in the semi-final and the final of the FA Cup. So even Pep as well, he started with like fullbacks, Kyle Walker and Mendy. Then he went to Cancelo, inverted left, inverted was going to be the manager of the players, not just a coach. So if Manchester United board and owners are going to, and the fans are going to listen to the likes of Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher as the templates for them to make decisions in the club, then he's going to do his time as Manchester United and he would leave. But he wants to make sure that he is the manager of the players and the sporting director is doing his job and every other person on the board is doing his job. I think these comments have led to his eventual sacking. He was obviously going to get sacked, but at the same time, this was just the nail on the wood that confirmed the sacking with the press conference he had. Another thing I think I would put blame on for Amorim is the lack of adaptability. He was not there to. He was not willing to adapt. He played a 3-4-3 that worked in Sporting, came to Manchester United and felt, okay, this information is what I'll stick to, whether I have the players or not. Remember, when Ateta came into Arsenal, he won the FA Cup using a back five throughout the season because he came in the middle of the season. He used back five, and he went on to beat Chelsea and Man City in the semi-final and the final of the FA Cup. So even Pep as well. He started with like fullbacks, Kyle Walker and Mendy. Then he went to Cancelo, inverted left, inverted right back. Then he went to Sicheko, inverted left back. Then he went to inverted centre back in Stones. So even Pep Guardiola has been able to adapt to the involvement of the game and in the Premier League. So who is Amorim to decide is not going to change. It didn't have the players to play the system he wanted to play. The least you could do is look at the players you have and play a system that works for them. A 4-3-3 would have been perfect. In Buemo on the right, or Diallo, Sesko or Zegzi on top, Konya on the left side, and you find a competitor for that position with Konya. In the attacking midfielder role, you use Bruno, find a replacement for him that can relieve his stress as well and allow you to chop and change him during less important games. Then you stick with Casemiro and Main till you have the center midfielders that you need. Then Mazraoui on the right back, Euro or Delete on the right centre back, Lisandro Martinez as well as Evan on the left centre back. Then you have Luke Shaw and um, Dogu fighting for the left back or Leon. So it is just crazy to see that he refused to adapt to the players he had in the team, and he forced his system, and the system was not giving him points. So it's crazy for him to make that decision. Another decision that cost his job, I would say, is the wrong transfer strategy. That strategy was crazy. To know that the system you want to play requires you to have a very solid two holding midfielders, you decided to go for three attackers in Cunha, in Buemo and Sesko. Why you could have decided to go for two and maybe Baleba, then you have another player from your team already, maybe Menu or Casemiro to pair with Baleba to be able to free up Bruno to also play where Cunha is playing right now. So it's crazy to make those decisions. I know it's not just his decision to make. His sacking and the performance of the team is not just on him, it's on the board, it's on the players as well. The players have to take responsibility. But at the end of the day, for an Arsenal fan that I'm delighted that now they have to go back to drawing board and start again. They start to rebuild from the scratch again. But to rebuild, you have to be humble to rebuild. Thank you for watching this reaction to the sacking of Amorim, and as well as my reaction to Manchester City's draw against Chelsea at the Etihad Stadium. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all platforms at _go, on TikTok, on Twitter as well, or X, on the _go, then on Instagram at _go.